calling this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hay,
Present.
Commissioner Morton,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cordell, Commissioner Fowler,
Here.
Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Mayor Black.
Here. Let's bow for invocation. Dear God, our Father in heaven, once again we come before you, thanking you for your blessings upon our town, thanking you for your blessings upon those that are present. As we gather this Maundy Thursday, let us take time to consider and think about the great gift that we had given to us by you to planet Earth. As we go into this Holy Week, we thank you for that. We also ask for your guidance and your blessings upon us as we conduct business for the town of Ranlo tonight. We ask these favors and blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yay. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
I would just request we make one small adjustment, Mr. Mayor. I would like to add a quick closed session for personnel matters at the conclusion of new business prior to adjournment.
Between 13 and 14?
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion we accept as amended.
I have a second.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? So carries. Anybody sign for comments tonight?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Next item is approval of the March 10th, 2022 Board of Commissioners monthly meeting minutes. We have approval of that? We have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second that one.
All in favor? So carried. Next item on the agenda would be the special presentation to Ranlo's delegation in the North Carolina General Assembly.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We are very excited to have Representative Corbett and his wife here with us this evening. If you will recall, back in March of 2021, this board, along with former Commissioner Locklear and former Commissioner Connor, who are with us this evening, passed a public resolution requesting assistance from our delegation in Raleigh for very specific projects, very much needed projects that we're going to provide a great short-term and long-term effect for our community, ranging from wastewater infrastructures to roadway improvements to waterline rehabilitation for areas of town that were in much need of assistance, as well as renovations to some of our community buildings, our lodge. Numerous great projects that we were very eager, very anxious to get started with. We had sought some other revenue sources, and we were not able to find the funding through those particular sources. So we sent Representative Corbett a resolution requesting assistance, and he heard our plea along with Senator Harrington in Raleigh. And as you all know, it was a very interesting budget cycle, but we were able to get the first budget signed by the governor since he took office, and in that budget was over $6 million included for the town of Ranlo. So I had asked Representative Corbett to come here tonight to be presented with a proclamation recognizing his assistance in this matter as a show of support from all of us here at the town of Ranlo. We also have a check here, and I would love to, would certainly give Representative Corbett an opportunity if he'd like to say a few words, or if any member from the board would like to say anything, but certainly our deepest thanks, appreciation. This is going to be truly transformational and help all 4,511 people that live here in Ranlo. So thank you, John, certainly thank you a lot.
Right. Do we have the check?
We do.
If we,
Yeah, if we'll all get up here, we can get a picture. If we can get Ms. Locklear and Ms. Connor up here, we can have our current board, as well as our two former commissioners. Maybe right here in the middle should work.
We're going this way?
Yeah, we can. Let's move these out of the way so nobody's tripping.
your hand to me.
Okay.
And, oh, here we go.
Special place for the formers.
Wherever you would like, Ms. Locklear. Yeah, that's right. Sure.
I've waited years
Both
for the
sides.
lodge to be renovated.
We can get a couple more down here.
How you doing, young lady?
I am doing fantastic.
Well,
How
I'm
are
gonna
you?
see. I'm doing all right for an old guy.
Can I get beside you?
I can get one of
We'll put all
them.
the short people to the side. We'll give you the tall.
See if we can all fit in here. I think we can.
Oh, I'm right here. I'll get you one tall
No,
guy.
you're,
Where are we at?
there you go.
Who's shooting first? Okay, raise your hand.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah, it's better here.
Okay, now over here.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. Lovely.
I'm gonna jump in for one if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to the lady on the door.
You should be down in the front.
Hold on, one more.
Yeah, you wanna switch with me?
No,
Okay.
Going with,
I'm here to further the goals and objectives of you all.
Perfect.
Video.
Wonderful.
okay. All right.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, John.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, no, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Yes, it's so good to see you.
I'll just take just a moment. That-
Absolutely, please, John, please, yes.
Our job is to help all of us. And I've often told, and I told Jonathan, I'm not here to mess with your city or town or anything, but if you need me, you call me, and we will come as fast as we can to aid and assist in whatever we possibly can do. We might not always be able to accomplish things. We were very fortunate this time that we put the pedal to the metal and came out on the winning side. But if you ever need me, that's what my job is. Do not hesitate to call and ask. And you got a great guy here. He laid out what the money was for. He gave me a specific purpose. You would not believe some of the requests I got. This gentleman laid it out and gave me the reason for it, the return for it, and the benefit of it. And that's pretty much why Ranlo was awarded the funds. With that, I will take y'all's leave. Thank y'all. Take care of business.
Thank you.
Good to see you, man. Doing good? Yeah, good to see you. Thank you for what you do. Hey, thank you for what you do. Oh.
Resignation from all of us. Thank you so much, absolutely. It's all of us, former commissioners, current elected officials. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
you might want to have them class in penmanship. I mean, no, I'll tell you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, John.
Y'all
Thank
have a
you so
great
much.
evening.
You as well.
Y'all take care.
Happy Easter to you.
Take care.
Susan, Sarah.
That's funny, but
Y'all
doesn't
so
matter.
horrible. I'm sorry. Love it here. Y'all be blessed. Good seeing you. Y'all take care. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you for
Take
coming,
care.
Robin. Thank you.
Susan now.
I think that's mine. Is that mine? My budget binder.
Okay, next item on the agenda is old business, review of our second version of our fiscal year 2023 budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. Before you tonight, you have the second draft version of the fiscal year 23 budget. This new draft budget incorporates the comments that we had from a few weeks ago in regards to tweaks, adjustments that the board would like to see moving into the second draft. It removes the 40,000. Well, if there are any specific questions, I can address those to begin with. If not, I can kind of do an overview of each department if that is agreeable to all of you. As far as, is that okay?
Yes.
As far as general fund revenue, this remains the same from the first draft. This past week, they have released revenue projections for sales tax. The forecast is showing strong growth with sales tax. There is reason to believe it may grow upwards of 10%. I would be leery about budgeting that much in regards to increases, perhaps some small adjustments once we move towards the third and final version that we're going to send to the state. But this is identical from the first version draft that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. Administration continues to remain the same. There were tweaks based on the board's input that they would like to see the 4% cost of living adjustment budgeted for only half of the fiscal year. We did some rearranging with some salaries through there, split up a few between the utility fund and general fund, but for the most part, there are no major changes there. The governing body also remains the same. The only major capital project we have there is that final payment to InFocus for our revised land usage plan and unified developmental ordinance. As far as recreation goes, nothing has changed since the last budget except those salary adjustments. Police department, this includes the 13th police officer, and we have tweaked the capital improvement, or the capital outlay line item from 40,000 to that 18,350 and some change for the 2 new vehicles to be financed through Ford Finance. Public Works, again, remains the same. We have that $10,000 increase for departmental supplies to take care of a few small projects for Public Works, 4 full-time employees, and then one of our $10 an hour inmate salary comes out of this particular line item. Sanitation, again, remains the same, with only the second payment on the small garbage truck coming out as a capital outlay line item. Non-departmental, of course, includes some of our workers' compensation, property and liability insurance renewals, as well as the monthly random drug testing. With that, we're showing a surplus of $56,023.66. This is an increase from the first draft budget, mainly due to the salary adjustments and the capital outlay item in the police department being adjusted accordingly. That is the general fund. I will continue on to the utility fund if that's okay. Again, there are no major changes with revenue in regards to the utility department. Admin and engineering, this includes a few salaries as well that's split up between the general fund and the utility fund. No major changes from the first draft budget. Water department continues to remain the same with only salary adjustments based on that 4% half-year COLA increase. Same with sewer, we have 2 full-time employees, and then the second $10 an hour employee with the inmate labor coming out of this with that 4% increase for the mid-year COLA. That is the, also water and sewer both include increases to departmental supplies to account for some of those smaller projects we're gonna undertake. With these adjustments, this is showing $92,105 surplus for the utility fund, which is an increase from what we looked at during draft budget number 1. And finally, stormwater and POW bill, there are no changes there. That is identical from the draft 1 budget that I presented to all of you. So we will be glad to answer any questions, concerns, ideas that you guys may have. I do want to commend Ms. Elsie. She's done a wonderful job working through some of these numbers and ensuring that we had a good second draft budget to present to all of you tonight, so I certainly appreciate her help with that. With that being said, any final tweaks or adjustments that you all would like to see, I would welcome that input, as I would like to have this sent to the local government commission by the May meeting in order to have the budget message and the budget ordinance prepared for presentation at May. I'm sorry, Mr. Hayes.
Sorry, I have a question. You mentioned the 56K number. I see, I guess the one I have from earlier today says 62K. I don't know what. Or this is from Tuesday. Do you have is this an updated one?
Yes,
okay,
this is updated. The hard copy in front of you is the latest working draft. And that was some adjustments that I made in regards to some of the salary adjustments. Last year and the year prior, we had budgeted for small adjustments in regards to Christmas bonuses if the board wished to grant those in December. We went ahead and built those in. There'll be, of course, the board's discretion come November, December, but I wanted to go ahead, build that in there, even if they're not used, to have a buffer in case there are some unforeseeable expenses. But yes, sir, Mr. Hay, that 56,000 is where we're standing with draft 2.
Okay.
I have a question about the power bill.
Yes, ma'am.
The backhoe purchase, have you decided that all of that should come out of Powell bill?
I think that.
Because I know at one point we talked about taking half roughly from Powell bill and the other half from the ARPA funds that
Right.
we received.
I think that we would likely be safe to go with POW bill. I think that we'd had the original conversation that since we were not going to be expending the funds for Boulder Court as we had anticipated in the POW bill, that we would have that additional capital left over that would be going unspent. We have over $300,000 in the POW bill capital management account. The purpose of that money is, of course, not to put into the coffers, but instead expend. So I think that that would certainly get us a few check marks with showing that we're expending these funds for the purpose of which they were intended through the fuel tax through the sale of the PAL. I think it would be advantageous to move forward with the PAL bill to alleviate any type of shortfalls that may occur with ARPA funding. I would like to use some of those ARPA funding to supplement the direct allocations and their federal allocations that we've received so that we can expand the scope of the project, or perhaps even supplement some of the funding, because the numbers that we submitted to the General Assembly to Washington were based off of 2020, 2021 numbers, and of course with inflation and the way things have changed, I think the ARPA funds would serve as a great backup to kind of put some of that money back towards so we can accomplish the projects that we sought to undertake.
Makes good sense. The other question that I had about it is, do we have, so we've got, or you've got $60,000 going toward maintaining and repairing streets. Is that, what is our plan as far as that goes? Because do we have like a list of streets that, do we have a schedule basically?
As we have not, we have a prioritization sheet of the streets that need to be paved based on the latest capital improvement plan that we did for streets and roadways. That $60,000 for pothole paving, street repaving, that coupled with departmental supplies is $90,000. That's roughly how much we get each year in PAL bill funding. So I split that up with the lion's share of that going towards maintenance and repair of streets. I think that we would be able to, and that's a project we've talked about for some time, that I think the capital improvement plan was a good step forward so that we have a list of prioritizations with what streets are in the worst shape and which ones are at the highest priority. So I think that's an excellent idea that moving forward in fiscal year 23 that we're able to set a goal that we're going to pave this street in Q1, this street in Q2, or at least patch, repave, and allocate accordingly. A lot of that will go hand in hand with the water line replacements that we've got. We certainly wouldn't want to repave the street only to come back to uncover it to put in new water and sewer, or sewer lines through there. But I think that there are streets that are on the capital improvement plan that could stand to be paved, particularly 3 of these alleys in the back Mill Village. They're showing up on our PAL bill map, but they are not fully paved. I think that that would be a good project, an easy project to undertake, particularly given the fact that we are getting money under the PAL bill for these streets and they're not fully paved. We've received numerous complaints, numerous many people have voiced concern in regards to that, so that may be a good start, just thinking out loud. But yes, we will work towards a prioritization sheet of what streets we can have so we have a clear plan going forward. Ms. Woodell, thank you.
So I got a question too.
Yes, sir.
I was looking at some numbers, and I used my own house for the base of what I'm looking at. Last year we added a 10-cent tax increase to our citizens, and we put $250,000 increase in our budget for that. And of that, we're putting, with this proposed budget, $56,000 into the general fund or to replace that. The purpose of that 10-cent increase was to replace our fund balance. And it is my understanding that we're still going to kind of hit our target this year, but it was based more on saving wages from LECA being out and stuff that throughout the year. If we go next year, the state is obligated to do a reassessment, and I'm right now currently paying $3,100 a year for my property taxes. It's going to go up to $4,200. It's an increase for me of $1,000. That breaks down to, I'm currently paying $266 a month, and it's going to go to $351 a month.
With the reevaluation.
With the
yes.
reevaluation.
Yes, sir.
So my concern is now with $56,000 that we're saving, we're proposing a budget that's using $197,000 of what we increased. So we're getting close to that excess with adding stuff. So I know it's going to increase with the assessment, and we're getting close, so we may have to actually increase to sustain ourselves. So I'm really nervous now about adding a 13th officer, that's based on this, because if I'm going to have a hard time paying my extra taxes, these other people around here are going to as well. And I know they don't want, the water rates going up, everything's going up. So I'm having some reservations. See what else somebody else thinks.
So you're saying that because they're land's gonna be reevaluated, we can't afford an officer.
I'm just gonna say the people, the tax rate's gonna go up.
Right.
We can adjust the tax rate and then the appraisal to go revenue neutral, can we?
In January, the county is gonna do a reevaluation of all the property here in Gaston County, similar to what they did, I believe, 3 years ago. At such time, they will release those numbers to the municipalities. So this time next year, we will be doing a revenue neutral analysis to see what type of burden would be on our residents in regards to the reevaluation. Because if we do nothing, it would be a de facto tax increase with keeping the 50-cent increase, and then property is going up more. So the reevaluation that will occur in January of 2023 will show up on the tax bills in fall of 2023, at which time next fiscal year 24 budgets will be into effect. So any type of adjustment that we would do in reference to the reevaluation would occur during the next budget cycle in fiscal year 24.
But the purpose of the increase was to replace the fund balance.
Yes, sir.
So I
Mr.
think in a way, we're putting the cart before the horse. My idea to offset that would be to increase the police department's reserve officer overtime fund to be able to absorb some of that as well. My thought was to bump that up from $10,000 to $20,000, and let's wait a year till the reassessment comes in for a 13th officer. That's my thought.
This was one of the things I brought up, I think last, on our special budget meeting was, I think that if we do decide to go without this 13th officer, then we're almost doubling our general fund revenue input for this fiscal year, is that correct?
In regards to the amount that we'll be putting back in the fund balance?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the salary.
Oh, I see.
Nobody go in.
I'm not talking about FICA and group insurance, things like that.
With additional personnel in the police department, we looked at roughly a base salary of $47,000. And then FICA around $3,500, insurance $7,000, state retirement around $6,000, and then 401k $2,350 is pretty standard in regards to benefits that we would offer employees. So I believe what you were indicating, Mr. Hay, was that the $56,000 that we are projecting to put back into the fund balance under draft budget 2, with the addition of that personnel cost, it would double. Was that the inquiry?
Yeah.
It would be close, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Likely more with the entire benefit package.
And
Yep.
by putting more money into this general fund, is there a way, when reassessment happens, that we can, relieve taxes once we have money set aside? We wouldn't have to, once property values are assessed at a higher value, which we're assuming they're going to be, we can choose to lower that tax by 30 cents per, what is that, $100, whatever it is?
Yes.
And we would have backup money to cover some of that?
Right, it would be a conversation and certainly an analysis worth undertaking. Last year, I approached the board with increasing taxes for at least 2 years in order to replenish our general fund, as Mr. Fowler alluded to, and in order to sustain some of the services that we were providing. I had approached it to keep that 50-cent tax rate in effect for 2 years until such time that the reevaluation came about. When the reevaluation comes about, it's a very real possibility that we may be able to adjust that tax rate to account for the reval and continue to be able to sustain services as they currently are. So yes, it could be adjusted in the next, well, it of course can be adjusted at the board's discretion at any fiscal year, but certainly next year would be an appropriate time to look at a revenue neutral analysis to see what type of effect a tax adjustment would have.
Okay.
Any more discussions?
Just a quick clarification. How much were you wanting to raise the,
I would recommend raising it to 20 because I do see a need for the department. And again, try not to put the cart before the horse. That's why I want to give him whatever assistance he may need throughout the year as needed.
So-
And again, if he needs more, we could assess it then.
So what's on the floor is you're discussing changing not giving him the 13th officer.
My motion would be, I'll make a motion to forego the 13th officer and up the
Double.
reserve pay budget line to $20,000.
You want doubling?
Yes.
Just remember this, Danny. We took a vote last meeting, so it's up to the ones who voted first and seconded to rescind it before you can redo it.
I made the motion then.
So,
Am I correct?
A motion to reconsider could be made by any member of the board, at this time, if that was the conversation the board wished to have, if there weren't, because there was no final determination made, it was to include the officer for funding in the budget. Since the budget has not passed, since the ordinance has not been presented to the board, any changes could be made at the discretion of the board leading up to the adoption of the budget ordinance in June.
so, could we hear from, Chief Lunsford? Would you like
I'm
to?
not sure that- I don't think we were really prepared to discuss that,
we can raise the reserve officer's budget, but the problem is all my reserve officers work full-time jobs, so it's hard to schedule them to be here. It's kind of, I call around and see if they can fill it, where the full-time position, I can schedule them to be here when I need them.
Right.
Just like tonight, I've got one officer out with gallbladder, I've got another one that had to be at the hospital all day with his daughter, so me and the day shift car is working tonight until
Yeah.
somebody from the other rotation can fill in. Where if I had that position to be a floater, I could schedule it.
And I don't not unrecognize the need. I definitely see the need. But again, the increase of taxes that we put on the people was for a specific purpose, and now we're not doing that purpose, and that to me is kind of unethical. The more I thought about it, I prayed about it, and I just thought it wasn't right. Because we passed 10% increase for a specific reason. And people are telling us that they're wanting relief. The water rates are going up, everything's going up, everybody needs relief. But we're always going up, and we're pushing, we got 253,000, and we're pushing that limit the first year into it. And I just don't think it's right for the people.
Well,
It's
you gotta
not,
look.
it's not right to not have adequate protection there for the people either.
So, the two cars that were given, was one of them for the new officer?
Yes.
So then are we gonna rescind the cars too, just go with one car? Or do we need to purchase two cars?
My opinion
If we're
would be
not
to
gonna
buy it.
have two officers, or a new officer?
I would say go ahead and buy it, because he's gonna need it eventually.
Okay.
Continue on with the financing
Yeah.
of the two cars.
And then I'm sure he's got other cars that are pushing the limit anyway, that he didn't bring to our attention.
Also, we're bringing in the ATV, for this fiscal budget that we're in now?
We are.
Okay.
So what else you need in your budget, since you ain't getting nothing? I mean, you cut out everything but the officer and the cars. And now they're saying they're not gonna give you an officer, but you're getting cars. Not gonna have anybody go in it, but you're getting cars. Make a good yard room outside.
You love them.
I think, to Jamie's larger point, is this decision is easier to make once we know the assessment that happens in January. We're able to make that assessment on our budget easier once we know what the property values are gonna be, what our revenue is gonna be from those, how much our taxes for our citizens are gonna go up. To make the decision now would be handcuffing us to it now. It's something that we could reconsider halfway through the year, it's something that we consider during the next fiscal budget, but if we make
Yeah,
the
we told him
decision-
that last year, the last budget,
Well,
when he asked for the officer.
we didn't put ourselves in the position that we're in. I'm just trying to find a way to get out of the position that we was in. The 10-cent raise was to fix that error that had happened, and I think we should stick to our plan.
Well, we have a healthy fund balance, and we've seen, we talked about it last meeting, that we're getting no interest whatsoever on that fund balance. I know you wanna sink money into that and get that $300 worth of interest, but You know, we have a healthy fund balance.
And when we get to the higher rate,
Yeah.
people's not gonna be able to pay it, and we're gonna need that fund balance.
Because we can take from the fund balance to balance the tax increase and relieve the taxes on the.
We're in
The
a
property
board
tax.
meeting right now, thank you.
I was told to be up here at
You
7:30.
can be here, that's okay, but,
Okay.
okay.
So, I have a related but separate concern. I don't know that these housing prices are gonna be sustainable. And I'm just thinking.
What prices, I'm sorry?
Housing prices,
Housing
I'm sorry, I
prices,
wasn't
I'm
speaking
sorry.
clearly. I don't know that these housing prices are gonna be sustainable. And so, I don't wanna count on a revaluation to make up money. And I'm really kind of worried that by the time we get to next fiscal year, the economy will collapse again, just like it did in 2009. And we're gonna see housing values drop through the floor, and instead of talking about bringing taxes down to a revenue neutral rate, we're gonna have to talk about bringing taxes up to a revenue neutral rate. And, that is not a conversation that I would like to have. I would much rather we be conservative and readdress, the issue of hiring another officer in December or January when we see where we're at. And then we can make a more informed decision. That would be my preference.
That was one of the things I alluded to, is just, we don't know, we're handcuffed, if we make the decision now, we're handcuffed, whether or not the valuations are higher than we expect, or lower than we expect, and like you said, have to raise taxes on people to just survive here on this budget. We won't know until January. We really won't know. You look at the Economist every day, it's something different. Once we get to that point, then we know. It's like it happens every couple years. We know once it's put out, it's not gonna change for another, how many years?
8 years.
5 years, yeah, so. We're at the very end of the 5-year cycle. Once it's assessed in January, then we can safely, I think, and that's, I think keyword is safely make better budget recommendations, whether or not it's hiring another officer, putting more money in, increasing the rate, decreasing the rate, whatever it is. We really just don't know until the January time, whenever that's assessed.
So, the way I understand it, the 5% on water and sewer, because that's what Gastonia's, given us, but we're staying at 50%, there's no raise in our property tax, right?
No.
No raise, yeah, it's at 50 cents.
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah,
there's like
the
a-
raise won't
We're
be,
not- There is no raise in property tax.
Not
In this
until
budget,
this year.
in this budget.
yeah.
But, yeah, when they reevaluate the property, you're
Yeah,
referring
next
to
budget.
that, and that's what he said he's gonna address it when we get to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're not raising the taxes on anyone as of right now, in this budget.
Not right now, yeah, I think that, but we wanna be safe and conservative and make sure that we're not overextending ourselves, so if a crash happens or,
Inflation's going up.
inflation is going up crazy, if we can at least just wait till January to make the decision, then we have the answer to that question, and then we're able to assess the budget at that point. Right now, we're in like a limbo period where inflation is going crazy, the market is at an all-time high and unsustainable, we saw it in 2008, 2009, when everything crashed and taxes were raised on everyone, people were evicted from their homes. We don't want that on anyone in Ranlo. At least I don't.
How much is a good water break cost the town?
Depending on the size of the break, I've seen some that range from a couple thousand to
Yeah, I know,
20,
Jerry,
30,000.
It'd be a different fund, I know, but.
A couple years ago, we had a major break right up from the mayor's house here at Spencer and Park that cost us well over $20,000 to repair. We had to call in a pipe threader, we had to call in a contractor. It was right at Christmas. It was very expensive, so it certainly
So, in lieu of the fact that we have a economic disaster and everything collapses, you have a plan, don't you? How would you handle that? Wouldn't you would cut back on, employees? I mean,
I like to think that we're in a position to be able to handle just about anything that
Right.
may happen. We'll address it situation by situation, and of course, I'm sure everything that we've accomplished over the past 2 years, that we have a good group of elected officials, a good
Right.
staff, a good department heads, police chief, public works director, that would be able to make adjustments for it.
yeah, I agree.
would still like to say, we had voted a 10-cent pay, a tax increase on our citizens for a specific reason. And sticking to that plan is kind of an ethical thing to do.
Well, we did add to
No,
the fund balance last year.
We
that
agreed when we
was
did it for a
initiated.
2-year minimum.
Okay.
Then we had reassessed it. That's what the agreement was when we voted that.
All right. So, the consensus of the board would be do we have a consensus of the board to have Jonathan, reevaluate the, police department's budget to eliminate the third officer? I don't think we need to put it toward a vote at this point.
Mr. Fowler made a motion previously.
Made a motion.
In
Well,
regards,
We have consensus, I'll rescind the motion, but if not, I will stand.
I would.
We don't
stand
need
if
to make a
don't have
motion at this
consensus.
point, do we?
If it's
This is
kind of
not-
consensus of the board to remove the 13th officer, then no, but do we have consensus to remove the 13th officer from the budget? I don't believe we have consensus on that.
All right, all in favor to remove?
We'll need a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Well,
We
we
have
have
a
a motion already.
We got the motion, Jamie is presented, we have a second.
To be clear, the motion is to remove the 13th officer and increase the overtime line item by 10,000.
Yes,
Is that correct?
that was
Mr.
my
Fowler?
motion. If someone has other ideas on the increase,
Okay.
then, but
I'll
that's my
second.
motion.
I'll second this motion.
All right, all in favor? All opposed? All right, so carried. Let's redraw that, budget and take away the officer. And we're gonna keep the police car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've got 12 cars they can use too.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question about utility fund.
Utility?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Something I have kind of been thinking, did you increase the water and sewer by 20,000?
For the departmental supplies?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. For departmental supplies and water, that would be line item 60-710-0140. We increased that by $20,000. And in a similar manner, in the sewer departmental supplies, it was increased based on actual cost by roughly $20,000. That's 60-815-0140.
I think that I would like to see those increased by 15,000 instead of 20. Do you think that that would be manageable?
So in lieu of a 20% increase, 15%, or 15,000 increase for each.
Right.
What line items are we talking here?
6710-0140, is that right?
In the water department, the sewer department, departmental supplies. For water, it currently stands at 45,000 with a 20,000 increase. In sewer, it currently stands at 55,000. I believe Ms. Cordell is suggesting to decrease those each by 5,000 for a total of 10 in the utility fund. Is that correct, Ms. Cordell?
And this is to add more money into the fund balance.
To the utility.
Well, that would be utility fund.
In the utility fund balance. Which would put us 102.
102.
Is there consensus to move with that decrease? Is there any objection?
What do you
Mr.
think?
Morton, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll move forward with that, adjustment as well. Any, just to recap, to ensure that I have clear understanding and direction, the changes the board would like to see is an adjustment to salaries for the police department to remove the 13th officer and increase to the overtime line item from 10,000 to 20,000. And then, of course, FICA, insurance, retirement, 401K, that will all be adjusted in line with those total salary numbers. Those are the two changes in the police department. No other changes in the general fund. And then just two changes in the utility fund, decreasing those departmental supplies line items from 20,000 to 15,000. Anything else? With those changes, is the board comfortable with me sending a draft budget to Raleigh for preliminary review? If so, I will remit that to you all within the next few days, and I will remit to the local government commission and state treasurer's office within the next week. That should give ample time for their review, feedback, any adjustments, tweaks that we may need to come back together to discuss, and should put us on track for a presentation of the budget message at the May 12th meeting.
We all concur, I suppose. Okay, all minds clear on this? We move to the next item, new business. Consideration of the Gaston County interlocal tax agreement for fire service.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Before you this evening, we have a resolution to include Ranlo within the Gaston County Fire Protection Service Tax District. We are currently already under that County Fire Protection Service Tax District. They are looking towards a uniform rate across the county, and Mr. Moore may be able to speak to this better than I, but all of the unincorporated fire departments in the county, I believe there are 20, are going to be under the same tax rate, as well as High Shoals, Ranlo, and Tuesday Lowell also passed to go towards this uniform fire tax service district. Currently, we are 9 and some change on the $100 evaluation. With this resolution, it would give the county authority to move up to a maximum of 15. Both Mr. Moore and I have been assured that it will not reach that mark within the foreseeable future. They are likely looking at 11-cent tax valuation for fire service tax district. This is essentially revising the agreement that we have with the county to contract with the Ranlo Fire Department to provide fire services to the town of Ranlo. Is that essentially the?
Yes.
Did they just have it small?
Yes.
So, my question is, we already didn't have control over this tax, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it changes nothing.
No.
Or that we would have to get our own fire service.
Sounds like a change.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since it was, right?
All right, we have a motion,
I'll make it.
we have a second,
I'll second that one.
have a second to Jamie, all in favor? So carried. I'll sign. Next item on the agenda, view of the audit proposals for fiscal year of 2022.
Before you deny, Mr. Mayor, you have a proposal from Eddie Carrick. Mr. Carrick's CPA firm conducted the 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21-year audits for the town. They were all accepted by the local government commission. He has indicated his interest to conduct the fiscal year 22-year audit. He has submitted a proposal that's before you tonight that is almost identical to the last few years' worth of proposals. Mr. Carrick certainly has helped us a lot. When I arrived 2 years ago, we had not submitted an audit in several years. Mr. Carrick came in and worked in and day out throughout 2020 to 2021. They were all accepted without exception. With Raleigh, he would like to do the 22-year audit. So if the board is agreeable, I would just look for a motion to adopt the proposal from Mr. Eddie Carrick, or if the board so desires, we can certainly put out a RFQ, solicit some other proposals. We did that last year, and it was just price prohibitive to move forward with it.
Do we have a,
Given the good credit.
we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to
Eddie,
accept Eddie Kurt's proposal.
we have a second,
I'll second.
all in favor? So carried. Next item on the agenda is consideration of a resolution adopting an assist inventory assessment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, this will be included with our May 2nd grant proposal to the DEQ. This will work towards rehabilitating and upfitting the sewer system throughout the Mill Village. We're looking at applying for approximately $7.5 million for this particular grant. North Carolina Rural Water was generous enough to come out to camera some of the lines that we have in order to have some photographs and videos to include with this application. We put together a small asset inventory assessment based on North Carolina Rural Water's findings, so this would be a supplemental piece of information for the grant application. We have all of that information. It's been submitted to our engineers, and we are ready to proceed forward with this grant proposal with the board's approval to include this addendum. I would just look for a motion to approve that, and or would be glad to answer any questions you all may have.
Any questions from the board? We have a
I'll make a
motion. We got a motion from Doug, second from Wade, all in favor? So carried. Next item on the agenda. Discussion of our summer recreational events.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to formally bring this to the board this evening. So far, I have officially planned 2 events for this summer. We have a fireworks show similar to like what we had last year, same contractor, everything has been secured. We've sent the deposit, the date is secured, and we also have the festival slated for September. We had budgeted for the fireworks. We do have that money, but if the board, I wanted to see what the board, where the board was on any other additional events that we had. I know Mr. Morton and I had spoken about it in regards to some ideas for bands for some events, but I did want to see where the board was in regards to planning. We certainly can move forward with smaller events if the board sees fit for May, June, July, August, September, or really at your discretion. But I did want to open that up for discussion to see what the thoughts of the board were in regards to recreational events for this summer.
What avenue are we doing recreation through the administration department?
Through the we have event supplies, special event line items in the recreation department budget.
I mean, the personnel,
Up for administration.
y'all handling it? Okay.
We
good.
have so far.
So far, so good.
What were the dates of the, fall festival?
Sure, the 4th of July event is going to be on July the 9th. I will double confirm that, but I'm almost certain it's the 9th, and then the fall festival is going to be the 16th and 17th. September, I'm sorry, Mr. Higgins.
Now, did we have discussion on Milltown Nights? Did we have dates or?
Traditionally, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 3rd Friday of each month, was that Milltown Night?
So,
And when?
Is that right?
I think that's.
3rd week, wait.
I think so.
I'd like to see us incorporate like food truck night in there and something for all ages, you know, one night we have for the young adults and then one for the kids, one for the seniors, instead of having all one bunched up together.
Saying, making the Milltown Nights, like, each month have a separate, like, theme, is that?
Yeah, you know, like, 1 month it'll be geared more towards senior citizens. Everybody can come, but it'll be geared more to senior citizens. The next month geared more to the young adults to come out and have fun, and then the next month, kids, you know, have some little stations for kids to go out and play on and stuff.
I think that would be a good idea. The only qualm I have is we would probably wanna forego a festival in July since we're already doing the fireworks, and we can just incorporate it with that. That would be my suggestion.
You're saying skip
Milltown
Milltown
Nights.
Night in July?
Well, that's part of the
July.
bill. Well, the Milltown Night's part of, that big part of.
Right, that's what, not
Yeah.
have a separate event, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not have 2 events in July, just have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
can-
same with September.
I will say, what have you seen on, online, my wife is gonna be running a local farmer's market here in Ranlo coming up in May. I don't know how often she's gonna do it for, but I know that she's trying to get community engagement and, people to buy local, so I think those would be on the 1st of every month or near that, whatever Saturday or Sunday weekend that is.
What are we thinking, June through October?
Or September is usually the conclusion, right, of the festival. Or-
May through September.
We haven't done Milltown Nights since I've been elected, so I don't know the.
Right. That was my understanding, it would run from May to
May.
September, is that
Okay.
historically or traditionally. On that same note, if we are to plan something for May, June, we have July settled, and August, that would be 3 events. Is there a price cap that we would like to look at spending on each of these events?
Do we have a line item?
We have, event supply line item, currently in the budget, yes, sir, Mr. Hay.
So,
Can you get us a proposal?
Sure.
then the
We
concern,
charge, I think they did charge, for vendors, if I'm not mistaken, but we always let the churches, since they just give stuff away, didn't charge them nothing, you know.
Milton
Wow.
Nights was free, and the festival, we charge vendors to come out and set up food trailers and stuff like that to sell, cause they make money off of it. Anybody that was out there for profit had to pay to set up a booth.
and I'm sure before COVID hit, we had a list of vendors that we relied on. And now, is that list still valid, or, is it gonna be an issue to find vendors to fill it?
We have numerous vendors that we have listed. Former Commissioner Locklear and I had worked on that when we were looking at potentially doing the festival in September, reaching out to some vendors before we voted to postpone, forego the September festival. So we do have a list of vendors that we have used in the past. So yes, we certainly have a few contacts.
Did David Kaiser call you back?
I have not heard from Mr. Kaiser, no. Mr. Morton, he was the gentleman with the band.
Heart to Heart,
Heart to Heart,
gospel.
gospel band. And that was looking at having that for the September festival.
Yes, September 16th, it'll be on Friday night.
Another, our Easter event on Saturday?
Yes, sir.
I know I've mentioned to some of you guys, but I contacted Bubba's 33 in Gastonia, and they donated, I think they donated about 200 to 300 coupons for free kids meals for children. That will be given out at the festival, so I have those
That'd
for
be
you.
great.
Don't we-
That'd be great.
I think if we could, I'd like to see proposals for events.
Okay.
I think it's about time for us to.
For May, we will be a bit crunched for that. I know that May, this was something that was, very, dear to Ms. Locklear, was Senior Adult Month is in May. We may could look towards, you'll give away a bingo game, something along those lines at the lodge, something low cost that we could potentially do, for senior adults for an event, maybe a Friday or Saturday with hot dogs or something along those lines. Something low cost that would fit within the confines of the current year budget, and then we could discuss a June event at the May meeting, if that is agreeable to you guys. So we will just proceed forward with planning a small event for May, bingo night for the community, or for anyone that wants to come, and then some type of giveaway for our seniors similar to last year. We gave
Okay.
away over 100 plates of food, I believe, last year for senior night giveaway. We did a drive-through here at concession stand. It was a big hit. And I think that's been done in the past too.
Yeah.
It wasn't something new that we.
All right, anybody else have a comment on the summer events?
On the recreation note, when does the splash pad open?
Typically, we open at Memorial Day. I believe we had discussed potentially opening a little early, but with the inclement weather that may be coming this weekend, we were concerned about that. Jason and I were talking about it just today, getting the necessary parts to repair a few tweaks that are on it. He was working on that today, so we can really open it at the discretion of the board. I think it's traditionally been Memorial Day, but we certainly aren't bound by that.
I think I'd like to see it open May first.
May 1st weekends only,
May 1st weekends only.
is that what you think? It's like, school's still going on, you know?
Right, there's kids under 5 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor's got at least one of those, right?
Two.
So far. Okay,
Early May for splash pad.
yeah, that sounds good to me.
It's hot enough then anyway.
Sounds sure is.
Did we, get any feedback or anything on the resurfacing of the basketball court?
We have tentative prices on that. With the ARPA funding, we're working on securing all those fundings. I've actually got some grant project ordinance before you guys tonight to move forward with that. And because like we've said before, it is very heavily, it's used a lot of heavy traffic on that, but I definitely think that's a project that we can move forward on without too much delay.
Any sports gonna happen?
I'd be-
Soccer or anything?
Right, I'd be certainly open to any suggestions or ideas on, organizations and how to move forward with that, if that's agreeable.
Anybody in administration got skills of
I'm
soccer?
not a soccer player, Ms. Rowe.
All right. Anything else? All right, moving right along. Comments from town manager?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I do have, two action items before you tonight that, I had submitted earlier today. These are two grant project ordinances. The first is for a, special grant project ordinance for our state capital infrastructure funds. This gives us the authority to move forward with expending these funds. This includes the voted court restoration, Ranlo Avenue roadway extension, the lodge and community building renovations and upfitting, and the sidewalk repair and extensions. These numbers were pulled directly from the state budget, reference 852, item 540. This is the $3,592,750 that we got. This is a formal budget ordinance giving us the authority to move forward with expending these funds. They've been accepted. This just puts it in a legally binding budget ordinance for the SCIF grant. And then the second is very similar. It is the second grant, special grant project ordinance that we have in regards to the Department of Environmental Quality Division of Water Infrastructure grant. This is the $2,824,200 that we received that was funneled through the DEQ that provides for the South Ranlo water line replacement project, the AMR meter replacement systems, and the Ranlo Avenue water line extensions. So I would just look for a motion to approve these ordinances, giving us the legal authority to move forward with beginning to expend some of these funds, particularly in regards to the preliminary engineering studies that we are projects that we are moving forward with the Wooten company that we approved to be awarded the contract for the engineer manager.
Do we have a
So,
motion?
the next steps would be, once we approve these, if we do, it, Wooten Company is gonna be able to prioritize, or they gonna be able to manage both at the same time?
Yes.
What's their plan?
Yes,
How
they
soon
have-
can we get started?
Right, and we've already gotten started. That's
Okay.
why I'd like to see these passed so that we can begin to pay the bills as they're generated, because they are coming in. Number one, surveying. They've been here in town on site for several weeks now, surveying some of the sidewalks, surveying Ranlo Avenue. We already have all of the information prepared for Boulder Court. If you'll recall, we sent it out to bid twice last spring, so we had that. It's just including the Ranlo Avenue project to make it more of a sizable project. So we've already began, we just haven't began paying for it. This would give us the authority to begin paying for it, and we have sent the letter of intent for the AMR meters. They should be here by late fall. So the projects have already started, the preliminary engineering of the projects. This would just allow us to begin to pay some of those bills and to have the authority to pay the more sizable invoices as they are remitted. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any other questions?
I'll make
Anybody
that
else?
motion to pass this.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
And this is for both, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So carried.
And just, two quick announcements, Mr. Mayor. Number one, we will be Town Hall will be closed tomorrow for Good Friday. Public Works will not be in, the administrative staff will not be in. We will be having Easter at the community building Saturday from 12 to 4. We're gonna have a lot of fun, excitement, the Easter bunny, eggs, candy, food, lots of giveaways. So we certainly invite everyone to come out for that. Other than that, I do not have any formal items, anything further, Mr. Mayor.
All right. See, me and Jamie, we attended a board, well, it was an online event this past week, last week, MPO. Of course, didn't affect the town of Ranlo any, so, but it was an interesting board meeting. I think they're gonna, the next meeting we have, we'll actually be able to go in person. Another item, concerning the overspray of the water tower on my late wife's car. I had to pay for the repairs out of my own insurance company. And then, of course, they sued the insurance company of the individual that, I got information today that they finally did settle with them and they paid my insurance company back. So that's good news.
18 months, around 18 months?
Yeah, something like that. That's good news for me. I get my deduction back. All right, anything from Board of Commissioners? Okay, go ahead.
Is there gonna be an Easter egg hunt? My daughter wanted me to ask.
we're not gonna have a per se hunt, but we've got a ton of eggs to give away with, staged games and the Easter Bunny giveaway. There will be more than enough eggs to go around. I think I'm confident to say, yeah, 500.
She went to,
That's it.
Bowls a couple years ago, she got 1 egg.
Oh, my.
That's it.
We'll hold 2 for.
So she's.
The whole two.
All right, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Before we, let's have a second, all in favor? So carried. So we're going into closed session, so everybody's going to have to, we're really not going into, we're gonna stay in closed. Yeah, you have to move out in the hall.
Does she have anything?
What was you here for, by the way?
I'm Vicky Paul, live down in the Manhattan community, and on March 25th, I got a call from my husband saying our water was turned off, although I put a check in the drop box on the 23rd. She said she did not receive my check, and then I need to pay whatever was owed plus the $50 connect fee. So I went online and I proceeded to pay that, and then I kept telling her I put the check in the drop box. I really did. And I said, if you see the check, or if it come across, or if it's been misplaced, just let me know. I called several times during that week to check in with them to see if they received the check, to find out what happened. And on March 31st, I called my bank, and the check was actually there, and it cleared on the 4th. So it was like I paid my water bill twice in 1 week. I did not have the money to do that. And all I asked for was for my $50 back for the connect fee, because I did my part. I had it in there on the 23rd. I have paperwork, if you want to see it, showing that when they got the check was cleared, and also have the statement showing why I had to pay another $151.76 in order to get my water reinstated and have it turned on from my TV. So I was told I would have to come before the board and ask for that money to be refunded back to me.
Okay. Normally how we do this is prior to our meeting, which started at 7, you would put your name out there in a box that you wanted to address the board, but, you know, we're here for, that would be correct, and you would have been able to speak.
I didn't know, she told me to be here, Beth told me to be here at 7:30. So that's the reason why I apologize when I interrupted. I didn't realize what I was doing. So I do apologize to the board, but she told me to be here at 7:30. If I'd known, I would have been here at 7 o'clock.
Are you familiar with any?
I am, yes, Mr. Mayor. And Ms. Burton can jump in if I'm remembering it correctly. The issue was that, I'm sorry, what's your last name? Yeah, Ms. Poe, was cut off, during the March cutoffs. It's my understanding that the billing utility department, and Ms. Poe disagrees, that the payment was not received by 5 o'clock on the cutoff. We did receive a check that was deposited on the 31st that was dated March 23rd. On cutoff day, we checked the box, and then we shut off the box for a couple days afterward. The billing department was saying that the check was not received by the cutoff time. Ms. Poe did pay on the day that the water was cut off, and then several days later, the check was deposited into our account on the 31st, I believe.
And I called several times and I asked if the check would come through to please call me and let me know so that I could come back and get the check. No one ever called. I never heard anything. They told me they would go back and look at the video recordings to see when I dropped the check off. I didn't get a call.
Yeah.
I was the one having to do all the follow-up for this.
And Chief Lunsford and I looked through hours and hours of camera footage attempting to find where the check was deposited, and we were not successful in finding it.
Okay, so we do have 2 checks from Ms. Poe.
No, you have the online transaction and then the check itself.
She paid to get her water cut back on the day it was cut off, and then several days later, the check was deposited into the bank. The check was dated March 23rd, but the billing department informed me it was not received here until the 30th.
But that's not true. I had it in the box before then, and that was my argument, and that's the reason why I kept calling to ask you. I have it here on my phone. You can see it many times I called up here to inquire whether or not you received the check. So it had to be here. I didn't drop the check off on the 31st. It's just like I explained to Beth. If you look through the footage, I told her I don't drive a car. I drive an SUV. You would have seen during that week, if you checked that week, you would have seen that my SUV never pulled up to put a check in the drop box. I don't have money to pay water twice in 1 week. It makes no sense. I've been here for 17 years. And out of those 17 years, this has never happened to me, and I have never had to pay twice in 1 week. It was over $200, like $240-something. that I had to pay, and I don't have that in my budget.
And, she was told that she would need to address the bill, address the board to request this, as we don't have the authority to waive.
So, so I'm understanding, she paid online the full amount, and then she paid a check for the full amount that did clear her bank.
Yeah.
Check,
mhm.
the check to clear bank, yeah.
So,
So
did we
it's like-
refund one of them?
Your
No,
account
you
gets
didn't.
credited.
Her account was credited, she does not owe a March bill, the March bill was taken care of.
But her situation is the lack of funds for the month. If, I mean, that's
And
an extra
all I asked for was for the $50 reconnect fee back and nothing else.
that's an extra
And then that's when I was
fine.
told I would have to come here.
So you're saying the $50 reconnect fee is because the fact that the check was not deposited until the 31st?
We had not received a check at all.
You didn't receive a check?
We lock the Dropbox on the day that bills are due in the morning, and then we keep it locked well past cutoff, so we make sure it's empty.
Well, my main concern is the 150 or whatever
It was $150.
the water bill was.
I paid $151.86.
That's my main
And then the
concern.
check cleared a few days later for the $85. And they were saying the money wasn't here, but it had to be here. I even talked to you and you said you would get back in contact with me and you never did.
Well, I told you the billing administrator would get in contact with you, and I am aware that she did call you several times and left a voicemail for you
I
that
did.
Friday before. So I know that
She
you
only
did
left
reach
a
out to make
voicemail for me
contact.
to come here, but she told me to be here at 7:30.
I can't speak to the content of the board, not recall specifically what was said, but.
I understand.
All right, so is this the first time that she's ever been late in 17 years?
Probably the second.
Second time?
Mhm. Honestly speaking, probably the second.
Yeah. To the point where you had to pay the reconnect fee?
Because my dad did about 8 years ago. I just forgot that particular time.
Yeah.
And I had no issue with it because it was an oversight on my part. But this time, it wasn't an oversight. I did do my part.
So, so we're asking, the board basically to refund your $50 and you'll be
Please.
fine.
Yeah, because they've already put the money toward the bill that's current now. But I would just like to have my $50, please. And it causes so much, it caused a lot of tension between my husband and I because it made it seem like I didn't pay it when I did.
And did you have it found where she's been turned off or anything like that? I ain't questioning you, I just
Right.
wanna hear it from him.
I would rather not speak to the history of her account, I would rather prefer her to speak to your history on it.
Okay.
You're more than welcome
Yeah.
to check with Beth or anybody else, in the administration's office up front. But I have a good rapport with her, but again, I just didn't have it, you know. We were doing whatever we needed to do at the time to make sure we had water, but this was just more than we could afford.
Okay. Does the board wish to handle this right now? Any thoughts?
If
Any
the $50
considerations?
is refunded, the entire amount has been put towards the March bill. She does not owe a March bill, so any adjustment under or over that $50 would be charged back to her account that would be due.
I think that's the same correct about that. It would take away the connect fee and therefore it never happened, so it would be an extra cost.
Okay. So, correct?
Yeah, $50 was an extra cost. It was really part of the bill.
Yeah.
So y'all not into the refunding money?
I don't have the authority to we don't have the authority to
We
refund something.
typically don't refund the reconnect fees,
You just
and
credit their account?
in the event that an overpayment is made, yes, the credit on the account appears,
Good.
but, this is why we lock the box.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll look into it and, we'll have, Beth to call you tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday.
Monday.
What's that?
I was saying I'm willing to refund the $50 now. I understand how, not now, I don't know when we can get the funds to her, whatever it is, but, just saying that I understand how, you know, times are tough right now for a lot of people, and as someone who also lives paycheck to paycheck and knows how one overpayment on the bill can, you know, ruin a week or family pensions, things happen, and if you're in good standing usually with enough to where you came before us, I'm in full support of giving you a refund of that Connect fee. I feel like.
That couldn't happen until Monday, is that correct? Because we're closed
would-
tomorrow.
Mr. Hare, you suggested that you're willing to pay for the reconnect fee, or pay the $50 reimbursement, or are you making the motion that we reimburse it for the $50?
That we reimburse her for the $50.
So Mr. Hayes made a motion to reimburse her $50.
Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
All in favor? We have 3, all opposed? Any abstentions? You oppose? Where you at?
Always, man.
Okay, Dean, you, we all for it then, okay, 100%. Now the question would be to you, how would you go about reimbursing her? Would it be Monday?
It would be next week,
Yeah.
yes, tomorrow. And you prefer a check, right? You don't want it credited to your account, is my understanding.
Well, Monday?
Monday's fine.
Okay. All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate it. Enjoy your Easter holiday.
You too. Okay.